Please sit down in any comfortable meditative posture. Remove from your pockets any keys, cell phones, or purses that you might have. Remove also your glasses, your watches, anything that might obstruct your movements. Sit totally relaxed in a meditative posture, the body and mind completely at peace. Slow and deep breathing. Please close your eyes. We'll start with a prayer. It doesn't matter how you pray. It's always nice to start with remembering that higher force which is all around us and is behind and above everything that we see and hear. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Please open your eyes with a few blinks. Like all physical practices, yogic practices also start with a warm-up. We'll loosen the major joints of the body one by one, and we'll start with the hands and fingers. Stretch your arms forwards and loosen the hands and fingers. Now the wrists, up and down, sideways, rotation, rotation in the opposite direction, okay. Loosening of the neck. Please look left and right slowly without a jerk. Okay. The next movement will be the head bending forwards and backwards. But before we go to that, if you have any problem with the neck like cervical spondylosis, either avoid completely bending the head downwards or do it very carefully, just as much as you feel is okay for you. So loosening of the neck continued. Up and down. Be careful while bringing the head down. Okay. Sideward bends. Bend the head towards the left and then the right, slowly, without a jerk. Loosening of the knees. Please straighten the legs. Now lift up one of the thighs and take it close to the abdomen. And then straighten the leg again. Throughout this movement, the heel should stay slightly above the mat. The other side. Okay. Now go to the other side again. Lift up the thigh as well as the leg and then rotate the leg. Rotational movement at the knee joint. Opposite direction. Okay, now the other side. Rotation at the knee joint. Opposite direction. Okay. Those who have osteoarthritis of the knee can do these practices a little longer. They can do each of these movements 10 times, 3 times a day. And this is a simple movement. You don't have to be fasting while doing this movement. So you can do it anytime in relation to the meals. And it's very helpful in keeping osteoarthritis under check. Now we'll loosen the hips in a simple way. One hip at a time. Please bend one of the legs so that the heel is close to your body. Lift up the knee and bring it down. The other side. Okay. Please stand up slowly. Now we loosen the shoulders while standing through some breathing movements, rather movements which are synchronized with breathing. The breathing should be slow and so should the movement be. So slow movement and slow breathing, both synchronized with each other. We'll start with hands in and out breathing. Straighten your arms straight in front of you. As you inhale, take the arms sideways and exhale as you bring them back. Take a little more time while breathing out than breathing in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. So that was hands in and out breathing. The next movement is hand stretch breathing. Place the hands in front of the chest. Inhale as you straighten the arms, and exhale as you take them back. Note that your wrist rotates as you take the hands forwards and turns in the opposite direction again as you take them back to the chest. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now we'll do the same movement in such a way that as you straighten the arms, they form an angle of 135 degrees with the body. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now the same movement in such a way that the arms are in the same straight line as the body, that is, they make an angle of 180 degrees with the body. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay? Now we'll go to some of the traditional asanas. Each asana starts in a relaxed position. From there, we go to the final position through a series of slow, gentle and graceful movements. The final position can vary from one individual to another depending upon the flexibility of the body. So you don't have to try and copy the teacher or a picture in a book. Your final position is your final position, and don't try to overdo. You can do just as much as you can, and if you continue the practices regularly, long enough, gradually the flexibility of the body will improve, and you will be able to do perhaps as well as the teacher, or perhaps even better. But don't try to overdo right on the first day. So do as much as you can, and you'll find there's no chance of any injury in these practices. So we start with a relaxed position. From there we go to the final position, that is your final position, which means as much as you can bend in the right direction through a series of slow, gentle and graceful movements. And then we hold the posture there. Now this is a position of intense stretch. It's an intense stretch, but it is not a painful stretch, rather it is an enjoyable stretch. And that will be so if you don't try to overdo. Not only the stretch is enjoyable, your body as a whole is stable and comfortable. That is one of the basic principles of any asanas, that your body should remain steady and comfortable. And that's one of the basic principles which Patanjali has enunciated, Sthir Sukha Asanam. So you have to be sthir, that is steady, and sukhi, that is comfortable during the posture. And you reach that final position through a slow, gentle and graceful movement. There's no place for jerky movements in these postures. So after reaching your final position, you stay there for some time. How long you stay will depend upon partly your capacity and partly on the time available. And when you are done with staying in that posture, and while you stay in the posture, you have to hold the posture, not the breath. You can continue breathing. After that, you once again come back to a relaxed position. So you see that stretch alternates with relaxation. You start in a relaxed position, you go to a position of stretch, and then you again return to the relaxed position. Okay? So we'll do the first one in the standing position, a simple variation of Trikonasana or the triangle pose. Take one of the arms up slowly, When the arm is horizontal, turn the hand around. Continue the upward movement. Give yourself a good stretch. Imagine as if somebody is pulling at your fingers, and then bend. So if your right arm is up, don't take support from the left hand. It could be touching your thighs, but don't take any support there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back slowly. And once again, when the arm is horizontal, turn the hand around. Continue the downward movement. Enjoy the stretch and feel the blood rushing back to your arm. The other side. Again slowly. When the arm is horizontal, turn the hand around. Continue the upward movement. Give yourself a good stretch and bend. Don't bend forwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back slowly. When the arm is horizontal, turn the hand around. Continue the downward movement. Feel the after effect of the asana. So every time you come back, you can feel some sort of a sensation, a tingling sort of a sensation in the arm that had gone up. That's because the blood is rushing back. Blood could not flow properly while you were up and the arm was stretched. So now that's being made up by a little faster and excessive flow of blood into the arm. And to try and be aware of it is to train yourself that all the bodily movements in these postures should be performed with full awareness. Now we'll do the next posture in the standing position, Kati Chakrasana or the spinal twist. Legs a little further apart. As you inhale, take the arms up so that the arms are horizontal. As you breathe out, turn to one side. If you're turned to the right side, look at the right hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you inhale, come back slowly. And then as you breathe out, turn to the other side. If you're turned to the left side, look at the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale as you come back slowly. Bring the arms down and relax. Please lie down. We'll start with a relaxing posture that everybody loves, Shavasana or the corpse pose. Feet 1 to 1.5 feet apart, hands a little away from the body, palms facing upwards, eyes closed, slow and deep breathing. As you breathe in, the abdomen moves out. As you breathe out, the abdomen moves in. Now we'll go to Setu Bandhasana or the bridge pose. Feet close together, hands close to the body, palms facing downwards. Bend the legs. Separate the legs by a short distance so that the knees are the same distance apart as the shoulders. Try to bring the heels a little closer to the hips so that the legs are perfectly vertical. As you inhale, lift yourself up in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you breathe out, come down slowly and relax in Shavasana. Slow and deep breathing. As you breathe in, the abdomen moves out. As you breathe out, the abdomen moves in. Next we'll do the counter pose. Counter pose means a posture in which the movement is in the opposite direction. And as a general principle, each pose in the yogic practices is followed by its counter pose, so that the stretch generated by a posture is neutralized by the next one. So you'll see that in the next posture, that is Pavan Muktasana, literally it means the wind release posture, the movement will be on the opposite direction as compared to the previous one, the bridge pose or the Sedu Pandasana. So this posture, Pavan Muktasana or the wind release posture, is the counter pose for the bridge pose or the Setu Bandhasana. So Pavan Muktasana, once again feet close together, hands close to the body, bend the legs, encircle the legs with your arms. Try to bring the thighs as close to the abdomen as you can. And if you don't have a problem with the neck or the back, if you have no neck pain or back pain, then you may also try to bring the face as close to the knees as you can. Press hard and hold. Hold only the posture, not the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release the clasp. Legs up, head down. Bring the legs down slowly without lifting the head. Relax in Shavasana. Slow and deep breathing. As you breathe in, the abdomen moves out. As you breathe out, the abdomen moves in. Feet close together, hands near the body. Take the right arm overhead, the left hand on the abdomen. Bend the left leg, pressing the left foot against the mat, turn to the right hand side. Bring the left hand down to the mat in front of you. Taking the support of both the hands, sit up slowly. Now we'll go to a few sitting postures, and we'll start with Vajrasana or the Thunderbolt posture. Inhale as you take the arms up. Stretch. Imagine as if somebody is pulling at your fingers. Please come down slowly. to Shashankasana or the rabbit pose. One, two, three, 4, 5. Inhale as you take the arms up. Exhale as you return to Vajrasana or the Thunderbolt posture. Now we'll start with the easiest variation of the next posture, which is Ustrasana or the camel pose. Come to the position for Ustrasana. Legs a little apart so that the knees are the same distance apart as the shoulders. Place your hands on the hips, and as you inhale, try to bend backwards as much as you can and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back as you breathe out. Now you can see a little more difficult variation of Ustrasana or the camel pose, and do it if you can, otherwise you may just watch. Inhale as you take the arms back one by one. Try to reach the ankles. Bend backwards as much as you can. Tummy out, chest out. Look back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back slowly to Parvatasana or the mountain pose. The mountain pose serves as the counter pose for the previous one, that is the camel pose. The head between the arms. Look at your feet. Give yourself a backward push. Form a perfect triangle and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you breathe out, come down slowly to Makarasana or the crocodile pose. Feet a little apart, toes pointing outwards. The head facing the mat or turned to one side. Slow and deep breathing. The crocodile pose is a relaxing posture. Let go of the body so that the body is totally relaxed. Put your mind also at peace. Slow and deep breathing. As you breathe in, the abdomen presses against the mat. As you breathe out, the abdomen moves away from the mat. Now we'll go to the Cobra pose or Bhujangasana. Feet close together, hands near the shoulders, forehead on the mat. As you breathe in, rotate the neck backwards and lift up the head, shoulders and the chest. Look back. Let the abdomen stay in contact with the mat. If you try to lift up also the abdomen, you will have all the pressure and the weight on your arms and shoulders, and it will become an exercise for the arms and shoulders. But that's not what Bhujangasana is supposed to be. It's an exercise only for the upper back, and that will happen if you lift up only the head, shoulders and the chest, leaving the abdomen in contact with the mat. So your arms are there, the hands are there on the mat, but they just happen to be there. You're not really taking support from them. You're using the back muscles for this backward movement. So that even if you take the hands away from there, you will be still able to stay there. Okay, so you can see that you are using only the back muscles to stay in that position, with the head, shoulders and the chest lifted up, the abdomen staying in contact with the mat. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you breathe out, come back to Makarasana. Feet apart, toes pointing outwards, slow and deep breathing. The next posture is for the lower back, Shalabhasana or the locust pose. Feet close together. Take the hands towards the legs, palms facing upwards. Close the fists. Place the closed fists under the thighs, a little towards the inside of the thighs. Keeping the head down, lift the legs up slowly. Even if it's just an inch, lift the legs as a whole. Don't bend the knees. Let the chin stay in contact with the mat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring the legs down slowly. Return to Makarasana, feet apart. Slow and deep breathing. Taking the support of both the hands, please sit up slowly. Just observe the method of getting up. We get up in such a way that you get a counter pose for the previous two asanas. Please come to a comfortable meditative posture. Now we'll perform a few breathing practices. The first one is one of the simplest and yet one of the most beneficial ones for improving the fitness of the heart and the lungs. It's full yogic breathing. Normally we don't use the full capacity for breathing that we have. A small tiny fraction of it is enough, and the rest is a sort of a reserve. But then unless we keep encroaching on that reserve, at least off and on, the reserve itself starts falling, the reserve starts going down. And therefore, doing this practice every day, using the full capacity for breathing that we have, 10 rounds of it is one of the most beneficial practices that one can do, and it improves not only the fitness of the lungs or the respiratory system, but also that of the heart, because the heart and the lungs, they have an intimate functional relationship. So full yogic breathing means that we use the full capacity to breathe, and as usual in normal breathing, it's the inhalation or taking the breath in which is active, breathing out is passive. Now to breathe in as much air as we can, we start with the abdomen. The abdomen moves out, and then from there we move to the chest. The chest inflates, and then finally we take in a little more air, and while we do that, we find that the shoulders go up. We breathe out in the opposite sequence and passively. Just let the air flow out slowly. At least to start with, breathing out is totally passive. So first you'll find that the shoulders would drop, and then the chest would start deflating, and finally you can squeeze out a little more air by taking the abdomen in. So while breathing in, we move from the abdomen to the chest and up, and while breathing out in the opposite sequence, from the shoulders to the chest and then to the abdomen. And it's only when we reach the abdomen while breathing out that breathing out becomes active. You can squeeze out a little more air by taking the abdomen in. Now while breathing in, as you move from the abdomen to the chest, you would find that there will be a tendency for the abdomen to go in again. Try to resist that tendency. That's what we call guarding the abdomen. Make the abdomen a little rigid so that as you move from the abdomen to the chest, the abdomen doesn't go in again. Please try as much as you can that the abdomen stays out while the chest is inflating. So we start with the abdomen goes out as we breathe in, and then trying to keep the abdomen out, now start using the chest. And then finally take in a little more air, and you'd find that instinctively as you do so, the shoulders will go up. Further, breathing in should take less time than breathing out, and that would happen to some extent automatically because breathing in is active and breathing out is passive. But then you can further time yourself a bit so that the breathing is slow, and you do take considerably longer to breathe out than to breathe in. As you breathe in, count mentally from 1 to 5 slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as you breathe out, count mentally from 10 to 1, starting with 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So try to take the process of breathing out till you reach 1. Okay? So let's begin. You may place one hand on the chest and one on the abdomen so that you can monitor your movements. So start breathing in. First the abdomen goes out and the chest inflates. And while the chest is inflating, try to prevent the abdomen from going in again. And finally the shoulders go up. Breathe out in the opposite sequence. First the shoulders come down, then the chest deflates, and finally squeeze out a little more air by taking the abdomen in. Continue at your own pace. Maintain a slow and uniform pace. Slow and the deepest possible breathing. After you breathe out the next time, you may stop the practice, bring the hands down to a meditative posture, and resume natural breathing. Next, we'll do another pranayama, alternate nostril breathing, or Anulom Vilom Pranayam, or Nadi Shuddhi Pranayam. It's called by all these names. It's also called the king of pranayamas. Now, alternate nostril breathing, when we think of it instinctively, one would feel that we'll inhale and exhale through one nostril and then inhale and exhale through the other. But actually, it's just the opposite. It is exhale and inhale through one nostril and then exhale and inhale through the other. In other words, the change of nostril comes after each inhalation. Exhale, inhale, change to the other nostril, exhale, inhale, switch to the next other nostril. So the change of nostril comes after each inhalation. Out and in, change, out and in, change. That's how it goes. Then the next thing to think about is how to block one nostril at a time so that you breathe in or out only through the one through which you want to breathe. To block a nostril, one might think that one can just use the index finger and keep pressing the nostrils like this. Strictly speaking, that is not a sin. But when you get the hang of doing the right way of doing it, or the conventional way of doing it, you will find that it is even easier than this and more effective. So what we do is we fold the two fingers just next to the thumb, and when you do that, you find that now the distance between the thumb and the ring finger is just right for the nose to fit in snugly between these two fingers, between the thumb and the ring finger. Now, when you place the hand like that, with the two fingers just next to the thumb folded, with the nose fitting snugly between the thumb and the ring finger, just a little pressure with the thumb and you block the right nostril, just a little pressure with the ring finger and you are able to block the left nostril. Now, the next thing about how exactly to breathe, slow, fast, deep, shallow. Now, this is a relaxing pranayam, and therefore we make no special effort to breathe deeply. Just breathe in the normal amount of air, and we neither try to breathe too fast nor too slow. Just maintain a slow and uniform pace. It's a relaxing pranayam. And as in other practices, breathing out should take a little longer than breathing in, and that would automatically happen if breathing in is active and breathing out is passive. So spend a little more time breathing out than breathing in, and maintain a slow and uniform pace. One of the indicators that your depth of breathing is quite okay and you're not trying to breathe too hard is that while doing this pranayam, breathing should not produce any noises. So breathe silently without making any sounds. Another thing that you will see is that while doing this pranayam, there is a tendency for the head to bend forwards. Avoid that, and as soon as you notice that happening, make your head straight again. Now this pranayam is again a very useful pranayam. It improves the autonomic balance. But then it's also said to improve the concentration. And naturally, if you have to keep so many things in mind, how to block the nose, when to block which nostril, how to breathe, and when to shift from one nostril to the other, and to keep the head straight, if you have to keep so many things in mind, naturally it will improve the concentration. So let's start. Adopt this position of the hand, which is called Nasika Mudra. Take the hand close to the nose. We start with breathing out through the left nostril. So block the right nostril, breathe out through the left. In through the left. Block the left, out through the right, in through the right, block the right, out through the left, in through the left, block the left, out through the right, in through the right, block the right, out through the left, in through the left, block the left, out through the right, in through the right, block the right, out through the left. Continue like that at your own pace. Maintain a slow and uniform pace. Keep the head straight. The next time you breathe out through the left nostril, you may stop the practice, bring the hand down to a meditative posture, and resume natural breathing. You would have observed that we start with breathing out through the left nostril and we end the practice also with breathing out through the left nostril. That's the conventional way of doing it. Don't ask me what would happen if we start with breathing out through the right and end with breathing out through the right or any other variation. But the conventional way is to start with breathing out through the left and to end also with breathing out through the left nostril. Please lie down in Shavasana. That's for most of us the most pleasant part of the practice. Feet 1 to 1.5 feet apart. Hands a little away from the body. Palms facing upwards. Eyes closed. Slow and deep breathing. As you breathe in, the abdomen moves out. As you breathe out, the abdomen moves in. Now we'll relax each part of the body one by one. Relaxing a part of the body means that you don't try to do anything with that part of the body. Just leave it completely relaxed and unsupported. And if that is difficult, then you can tighten that part a bit and then let go. And you'll find that the part gets totally relaxed. We are not totally relaxed when we just lie down. And therefore, by making this voluntary effort to relax, we can relax still further. And instead of trying to relax the whole body at once, it's easier to go from one part of the body to the next. And that's what we'll do. We'll move from the feet up to the head. Relax your feet. Relax the calf muscles. Relax your thighs. Relax the lower back. Relax the upper back. Relax the abdomen. Relax the chest. Relax your hands and fingers. Relax the arms. Relax the shoulders. We'll spend a little more time on the head and neck region because that is where we store our stresses and strains. Relax the neck. Let go of the head. Just let the head drop on the mat. Relax your jaws. No clenching of the teeth, please. When you relax the jaws completely, you'll find that the lower jaw would drop. Relax the cheeks. Relax the eyes. Let the eyes remain closed but not tightly shut. Relax the forehead. No creases on the forehead, please. Relax the head. Now your whole body is totally relaxed and the mind completely at peace. Slow and deep breathing. As you breathe in, the abdomen moves out. As you breathe out, the abdomen moves in. Some students find that as they breathe in, the abdomen instead of moving out is actually moving in. That happens because of the tight dresses that we wear, the dresses that are tight around the waist. But properly speaking, as we breathe in, the abdomen should move out. And with practice, you'll find that it will happen. And the abdomen moving out while breathing in is easiest done in the lying down posture. And therefore, Shavasana is the best position in which you can correct your breathing if it is not already so. So, as you breathe in, the abdomen should move out, and as you breathe out, the abdomen should go in. Slow and deep breathing. Your body is so relaxed that as you breathe in, not only the abdomen goes out, you feel as if the whole body is getting lifted up. You feel as if you're floating upwards. And when you breathe out, not only the abdomen goes in, you feel as if you are just dropping on the mat like a stone, almost sinking into the mat. Get a feeling of floating upwards as you breathe in, and get a feeling of dropping on the mat like a stone as you breathe out. Imagine as if you are lying down out in the open. There's a lot of greenery around you, beautiful flowers, butterflies, the birds chirping. The sun is just rising. What a pleasant atmosphere. Visualize the rays of the sun entering your body. The rays of the sun are entering your feet, your legs, your abdomen and chest, your hands and arms, your face and your head. You're radiant with sunlight. The rays of the sun are reaching every nook and corner of your body. Visualize the healing influence of the rays of the sun. Say to yourself, I am healthy, I am very healthy, I am strong, I am very strong. Resolve to keep this feeling of perfect peace and total health throughout the day. Please move your fingers and toes a little. Bring the feet close together. Take the right arm overhead. Place the left hand on the abdomen. Bend the left leg. Pressing the left foot against the mat, turn to the right hand side. Bring the left hand down to the mat in front of you. Taking the support of both the hands, sit up slowly. Keep the eyes closed. We'll end the session with a prayer for universal well-being. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Please rub your palms. Cup the palms and place them in front of the eyes without touching the eyes. Let the cupped hands be in front of the eyes without actually touching them. The eyes are still closed. Enjoy the eyes relaxing in warmth and total darkness. Bring the hands down slowly along the body. Open your eyes with a few blinks. Namaste. Thank you.